There's a guy, this guy's named Russell Brunson. Some of you may know him. He has a company called ClickFunnels. I'll give you an example. Some of you may be familiar with ClickFunnels. He told this story that he was running a company back in the day. He started many businesses before he started ClickFunnels. And he had bought this company. He had bought a company and he wanted to run it, but he didn't know how to work the software. It required a certain type of coding language that he didn't know. And he was trying to make it work, trying to make it work. He couldn't figure it out. And his business was failing. He had to fire a whole bunch of employees. He was in debt. He owed the government money and everything was looking terrible for him. And he couldn't figure out how to make this business work because he just bought it. He was figuring this might be the way to get out of his issue, but then he couldn't even figure out how to make it work. So he's like, man, this is just, everything was about to go. So he was about to leave his office, and this is his story. So he told the story this way. He was about to leave the office for the night. He's about to turn off the lights. And before he did, he said, wait a minute, before I do that, let me try one more thing. So he wrote an email to the people on his email list and said, hey, I bought this website and it's on this type of software. I don't know how to work it. I don't know if anybody who's on my email list knows anything about it, but if any of you knows anything about this, let me know and maybe one of you can help me. So he sent the email out. Somebody wrote back to the email, some person on his list who he didn't even know, and they said, hey, I know how to use that software. Just send me the login and the code and I'll take a look at it for you. He sent the guy the login and the code. He didn't know this guy. He didn't know if the guy was going to do anything. Sent it to him. The next morning, the guy writes him back and says, hey, I fixed it. Everything's good. And he kept talking to this guy. And eventually the two of them became business partners and they started this company called ClickFunnels. The company is now worth probably $100 million or more. The point is, as a high agency person, he said, let me give it one more shot and let me figure this out. Instead of quitting and going home, which is what most people do, he said, let me try one more thing that might not even work. It's just a shot in the dark, but let's see what happens.